everybody, this is SOULCALIBUR here with another gameplay video. The game I'll be playing today is a game that came out a few years ago now, called SOULCALIBUR ⅵ. Alright, let's get into this. So SOULCALIBUR, a very popular fighting franchise by Bandai Namco. We haven't seen a new entry in quite some time yet, so I'm hoping we will at some point. It is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, fighting game franchise. So let's pick a character. Who shall I be this time? We've got Amy. I think I'm feeling Talon. Let's do Talon. So Bandai Namco's flagship fighting series is, of course, Tekken. And Tekken gets a lot more attention and care than SOULCALIBUR does. At least that's my opinion. And I think that's a real shame because I think SOULCALIBUR is actually a superior fighting game to Tekken. The idea of using weapons as opposed to just punching and kicking is really neat. Makes absolutely no sense, of course. Now the two characters here, so I'm playing as Talon on the left, and I believe the weapons she uses are called tonkas, I believe is what they're called. Amy is, of course, rapier. Very similar in style, fighting style to, I think, what's his name again? Raphael? So SOULCALIBUR, of course, originally started out as Soul Edge on the original PlayStation, also known as Soul Blade in some regions. And that was the game that really got me into fighting games to begin with. I mean, before that, I would go to the arcades and play Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and stuff, but I was never very good at them. And it would kind of be a waste of money in a sense, because I just keep pumping quarters into the machine over and over again, and not making much progress. So it wasn't very fun for me. So I didn't enjoy those 2D fighting games, Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or whatever. I had a friend actually who had a copy of Street Fighter 2, I believe, or Super Street Fighter 2, on the SNES, and I used to go over to his place and play it sometimes. But even that I didn't really enjoy too much. I found it just not very enjoyable. But my entire opinion of fighting games changed completely when I first played Soul Edge on the original PlayStation. And once I played Soul Edge, I immediately became hooked on the 3D fighting genre. And immediately after that, I started playing other 3D fighting games. Tekken, I was a big fan of Tekken, still am a big fan of Tekken. Virtua Fighter, which is one of Sega's best franchises, or most well-known franchises. Uh-oh, I hope I don't die here. So yeah, Tekken, Virtua Fighter, and later, of course, Dead or Alive, which is a very over-the-top but interesting franchise. Oh my goodness, uh-oh. Looks like I'll be fighting the exact same person, although the color of her outfit is slightly different. I don't really know. Doesn't make too much sense. Kind of wish it was a different character. So yeah, Soul Edge is what got me into fighting games, and then after that I played a bunch of Tekken and Dead or Alive and Virtua Fighter, and I'm still a fan of all those franchises, although we haven't really seen much, any new content in them lately. The most recent 3D fighting game, well, I guess the most recent 3D fighting game was a reskin of Virtua Fighter 5. That came out a little while ago. I'm actually not too interested in it, so I haven't bought it yet. But before that, I think the most recent, most popular fighting game to come out was Tekken 8. And that is hands down the best Tekken game I've ever played. It's absolutely fantastic. But as good as Tekken is, SOULCALIBUR's more my jam. In every SOULCALIBUR, I always look forward to experimenting with new characters or to revisit older characters, see their new designs, the new weapons, that sort of thing. Just as an example, we have Yoshimitsu, who is of course from Tekken originally, and now makes his appearance in the SOULCALIBUR series. And Yoshimitsu's sort of basic manifestation is his design is greatly varied from game to game, especially in the Tekken series, but in the Soul Calibur series as well. And I always look forward to seeing his newest iteration. We got Cervantes here. He was the original antagonist in the original Soul Edge. Now the main antagonist in this game, I think, and as that has been the case with Soul Calibur for a while now, is Nightmare. Okay, I have to win this duel here. Hopefully I'll win this duel. Okay, no problem. Who is sort of like, okay, so there's Nightmare and Siegfried, and Nightmare is basically Siegfried transformed. But Siegfried, of course, Siegfried and Nightmare are really cool characters. Their main feature is they're absolutely massive, over-the-top swords, like claymores, I guess you could call them. So yeah, new Soul Calibur game always means new designs of older characters, newer characters, that sort of thing. And one very interesting aspect of this, of course, is that there's always guest characters that come in the new games. And these guest characters are from other games, and that's a really cool idea. So just as an example, oh my god, we both fell up there. As an example, in this one, Soul Calibur 6, we have Geralt from The Witcher. We also have 2B from Nier Automata. But depending on the game, there were different guest characters. For example, in the GameCube release of Soul Calibur 2, the guest character was Link from The Legend of Zelda, which I thought was a really cool idea. You know, you're mixing up kind of Nintendo characters in a non-Nintendo franchise. I believe the guest character for the Dreamcast was Heihachi from Tekken fame. I don't remember all. I think there was a character from Spawn in one of them, maybe the Xbox one. I can't remember too well though. This Grow character, I believe, is new to the series. And he's got, of course, this sort of double-edged sword thing going on. When it comes to fighting games, I really couldn't care less for the story. The story's just an excuse to beat people up, really. So I usually just jump straight to the arcade mode. So yeah, I don't know. When will we see a new Soul Calibur? Will it happen? When will it happen? I would like to know. We haven't seen one in several years now. I don't know what Bandai Namco's position on the Soul Calibur franchise is, but I'm sure it would sell well, because it is a popular franchise. Alright, no problem. I got this guy. There we go. I'm not sure where Talim is from, actually. The thing with Soul Calibur, of course, is that every character is from a different place over the world. We got Japan, we got Europe, we got North America, that sort of thing. Okay, here's Nightmare, who I was just talking about, the main antagonist of the game. And immediately, once I start playing as him, you'll see how badass he is. I mean, look at this guy. Unbelievable. He has this mutated hand and this giant weapon with an eye on it. Unbelievable. I always like playing as these characters with these giant swords. And going back a second to what I said about guest characters, you know, sometimes I think in a perfect world, what kind of guest character would be good for Soul Calibur? And one character that immediately comes to mind, it's probably not going to happen, but it would still be really cool, would be Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. Because he has one of the most iconic weapons in all of video games, with his massive Buster Sword. Just as a side note, I am a big fan of Final Fantasy, and I do like Final Fantasy VII a lot. It's probably my favorite Final Fantasy. I know it's other Final Fantasies are considered to be better, but it's consistently very good. That game, I enjoy it a lot, and I also think Cloud is a really cool protagonist. So yeah, having Cloud in Soul Calibur, fantastic idea. I think that would be really neat.
That's a nice breeze.
Okay, I win. Alright, who am I fighting next? Okay, Maxi. He, of course, has the nunchaku.
Blood, flesh, and souls are offered to the gods amidst deathly chants.
I'm sure I can do it.
Boring, just like the rest of them.
Very cool stage we got here. I'm not really sure. It seems like some sort of like temple or cavern setting, maybe. So the story mode in Soul Calibur 6. Oh, I'm gonna die. Maybe I can redeem myself here. Great. Oh, fantastic. The story mode in Soul Calibur 6 is called Libra of Souls, and it's sort of a variation on Weapon Master mode from Soul Calibur 2. Oh man, Maxi doesn't even stand a chance. Maxi's fun to play as because he's really fast and he has the nunchucks, which are really neat.
Victory will not come.
So when I was in university, I took a course in stage combat, and we had 3 assignments in this course. Maybe while I won this duel, yeah, 3 assignments in this course. One was, I'm gonna beat Maxi here. A sword, a rapier battle. Another one was a bow or staff battle, and a third one was hand-to-hand combat. So I learned a little bit about stage combat and how you perform sort of fight scenes on stage in like a theater sort of setting. So that was very interesting. All right, who am I fighting next? I'm not a very violent person. I don't like like UFC or boxing or fighting of any kind. But stage combat is kind of neat, I have to admit. All right, now here we have, of course, Yoshimitsu, which is, as I mentioned earlier, from Tekken. And he has a really cool design here. They did yeah, so they change his design up for every new game he appears in. It's one of the things I look forward to the most. I don't know, like this. I guess he's sort of like a samurai then, maybe. He's not really a ninja. He's definitely Japanese. There's no doubt about that. And he has this cool flag on his back, which is a very typical feature of Japanese warriors or samurai. They often have that. I mean, when it comes to like sword fighting, nothing is more iconic than a samurai. And of course, we have, in addition to Yoshimitsu, I got a perfect score. Cool. Yoshimitsu, we've got Mitsurugi, was the original main protagonist of the original Soul Blade. And he's appeared in every Soul Blade or Soul Calibur game. Okay, now I'm fighting Hwang, who's from Korea, and he has a machete. So he's a really neat character. Now, unfortunately, I am running out of time, so I'm going to have to end this video here. But I hope you've enjoyed it. This is a very fun game. If you're curious about it, please give it a try. Yeah, so this is Sasuke Sora signing off. Okay, see you later, guys. Bye.